Welcome to Real Estate Economics Weekly Webinar Series. Real Estate Economics is a leading provider of residential market consulting and online research tools. Every week at this time, we post to YouTube a webinar covering a variety of topics. Some weeks it will be the entire nation, the residential market in a particular state, MSA or geographic area. Today we're going to present Ventura, California MSA for September 2010. I'm John Mulville. Please check our website for our upcoming schedule. We're working out the schedule for the next few weeks, so come back and in the top right-hand side of our website at www.realestateeconomics.com, all spelled out, we'll post the schedule for the next several weeks here pretty soon. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Go to youtube.com, type out Real Estate Economics, and look for our weekly webinar. Please note we've posted our entire webinar history here, so if you've missed a past webinar that you want to see, you can find them there. You can start and stop a webinar at any time, save it to view it or watch it at your convenience, or share the particularly interesting and relevant parts too with your friends and associates. Part 1 today, we'd like to go through Ventura County, a little bit of the cycles. If you've watched our webinars before, you've seen us present some history on the different markets and watch the transition over time as markets degrade, change character, then improve depending on what the situation is. This particular map shows our housing transaction report map. Where blue dots are conventional resales, that's owner to owner, but it's a category that does include short sales. The green dots are new home sales, those are conventional builder sales. The orange is foreclosures, that's owner back to lender, and the yellow are foreclosure sales, that is lender out to new third-party owner. Now this map is for the single month, June 2006, so you can see the entire market is essentially covered with owner-to-owner blue dots, which comprise about 84% of the total volume. If you put the economy into perspective at this particular time, economic conditions were good, credit was more than plentiful, particularly mortgage credit. Employment was high, and overall economic conditions were good. New home sales, shown in green, captured about 10% of the total market in those days. We would consider 10% to be about an average condition for new home sales. Usually if there's below 10% new home sales, we would expect to find market opportunities. If we were in the 18 or 20% new home sales, we would be concerned that the market was getting a little bit frothy, market share thin, and capture attributable to new homes were somehow too high. Back to June 2006, foreclosures are very low at 1.1%, and foreclosure sales bank out to owners 4.8%. Let's come forward a full year and look at the character change. Now, 1 year later, conventional resales have dropped by more than 10% to 72%. New construction, new builder sales are down under 10% at 9.4, but still that's holding pretty good considering we've got a little trend lower in volume at this point. However, foreclosures have come up quite a bit, and foreclosure sales are coming up quite a bit. You can see the distribution here. The green dots are still green dots in some of the outlying areas, Moore Park, Oxnard, and some of the places that produced a lot of housing during this particular cycle, Camarillo. We're starting to see some foreclosures. In some markets, our foreclosure activity is concentrated in outlying areas, the tertiary low-value markets. That's not necessarily the case here. They're reasonably well distributed. Let's come forward one more year. Now we can see the character change in greater detail. Conventional resales have dropped from 84% to 72% and are now under 38% for March 2008. New builder sales, just 4%. So we've gone from 10% to 4% in just 2 years. Foreclosures skyrocketing 32.6%, and foreclosure sales 24%. So we've got total distress now at about 57% of the total. You can see how those distribute. All of these markets are being hit by the fallout of subprime. People are beginning to have employment difficulties, get some resets in their loans that frankly they can't afford. That's a process that's continuing today. You can see the most heavily impacted areas. Oxnard's particularly highly affected, and some just different pockets throughout the county. For those of you who don't know the area that well, Ventura County has protections for agricultural resources, and what that tends to do is spread the communities out and put quite a bit of open space between the communities, so it makes it a little bit harder to shop for a new home from market to market, and the commuting times and neighborhood characteristics tend to vary quite a bit more from residential area to residential area than in some areas where they tend to blend together, and you cross the street and you're in a nearby community. That doesn't really happen in Ventura. Let's come forward to June 2009. Again, a character change. You can see quite a bit more activity in the conventional resale category. That's now 51.5%. New builder share continues to drop. Those green dots are down to 2.8%. Foreclosures also coming off 21%, and foreclosure sales 24%. Already at this point in time, we're seeing a migration out of lender repossessions and remarketing into short sales. Now everyone's heard about the short sales, how it's difficult to close and it takes a lot of time. That was true in June 2009. As far as we can tell, that's true today. But recovery values have been quite a bit higher on short sales. Physical destruction tends to be quite a bit less in a short sale than in a lender repossession. Even people who are leaving their home after selling short tend to want that transaction to succeed. They want to close that home and will take, in many cases, surprisingly good care of a home they're going to leave just to facilitate the short sale. Let's come forward one more year to June 2010. And the conventional resales are up to 64%. New builder share continues to trail off, but the total foreclosure and foreclosure sale numbers are now down to about 30%. You can still see they're distributed across the region, but what we're getting is an improved servicing of the distressed inventory pipeline from lenders. Lenders have really staffed up in many cases. They're using special servicers in other cases, and we're seeing homes begin to outlet to the resale market a little bit more quickly and more efficiently than they had throughout the years. So what have we seen over 5 years? We've seen a trend towards much higher foreclosures and foreclosure sales in the initial periods, but now that's reversing, and a lot of that distressed inventory is outletting itself to the conventional resale market through short sales. So what's happened during this time period in terms of average house prices, value ratios? You can see in June 2006, average price $821,439. This market was starting to see a lot of discretionary and executive product. It was starting to see some luxury and resort product. It's an area with relatively few permits and a lot of employment demand spilling over from LA County, so values ran up relatively quickly in Ventura County. For those of you who aren't that familiar with the area, this would be the area north of LA. If you look south of LA, there's Orange County. The prices in Orange County didn't run up to this same magnitude that they did in Ventura County. Ventura County actually exceeded Orange County on an average price basis for a while, only to fall back as this market disruption took hold. You can see over the 5-year period steady declines in prices, steady declines in value ratios. If you did the math on these house sizes, the house sizes are coming down year to year to year as the market seeks more affordability. Now come to June 2010, you actually see a rebound in the average base price and a rebound in the value ratio. This is again a function of the short sales that we've seen throughout the market. Recoveries are higher than conventional repossessions and foreclosure sales, and that's beginning to manifest itself in the data. Let's look at the volume trends. I apologize, this is a little bit busy, so let me call out the categories. Conventional resales are in blue. Again, that includes short sales. New home sales are in green. Foreclosures, that's owner to lender, are in red. And foreclosure sales, that's lender out to new third-party owner, is in purple or burgundy. You can see just this pattern that we've been talking about in the past couple of slides. Resales growing in the early years, plummeting in 2008, and now gradually rebounding over time when the short sales are included. Foreclosures coming down since 2008. Foreclosure sales steady, then down into 2010 as increasing numbers of distressed units are outlet through conventional resales. Sometimes through the brokerage community, sometimes through banks, sometimes through special servicers. But this is really turning out to be the preferred outlet for distressed inventory, is just conventional resales. Let's look at the attached to detached in this area. It's held surprisingly steady. This is an excellent area in our view for second homes. There's a lot of attractive beach communities, and so the attached side of the market has held up pretty well. We think this is a market with excellent pre-retirement and mature buyer potential, so we would expect the attached part of the market to hold up fairly well. We are running into some communities that have fairly high ownership costs, HOA and total effective taxes. That's, of course, a huge market negative in an environment where it appears that taxes are increasing quite rapidly, so we'll have to watch that carefully and see if the market resistance stiffens for some of these communities with high ownership costs. Here's our quarterly survey comparisons. Real Estate Economics makes a quarterly survey of all active developments in this market, and through those repeated surveys we can see a number of market changes. This particular product, our survey to survey, you can find on our website. You can buy this for a one-off. You can define the area. You can define the product. You could limit it to attached or detached. You can buy this without any sort of subscription, so anyone out there who's interested in any particular market area can use this for their own research. What I'd like to point out in this series today, number of active developments. In 2006, the top green line, 42. We come forward 5 years, and that number has fallen by half. We're at only 21. As those developments close out and there's less and less competition, the sales velocity is ultimately going to rise there. They're going to get improved capture and gradually pick up more and more buyers. We still have a fair amount of legacy product in this market, and by that I mean homes that were designed for 2005 and 2006, tastes, preferences, and price points. Many of those units are not well received now, with the market's really demanding smaller, more affordable homes. You can see that in the average unit sizes in the middle of the page. They've come down from 2773 in 2006 to 2106 in 2010. This market's demanding greater affordability. Lot sizes, the middle green line, have dropped by more than half over 5 years as builders seek products that will resonate with people and have the right price points. And last, we'd really like to point out inventory levels have declined quite a bit in this particular area. Months of unsold released inventory down to just 2.5 months. Some of these months figures are very sensitive to sales rates in this market area, so if sales rates suddenly perked up 10 or 20%, then these numbers come off very quickly, and suddenly you go from having a market that seems like it's poorly supplied to having a market that has practically no supply. That's the end of part one. Please join us for part two today.